Welcome back to On-Rate Podcast here. You have Elijah alongside Grant. We are, live watching the Seahawk Rams game. Big implications for the Detroit Lions going on in this one. It's in overtime, kind of messing up production here a little bit. But, Grant's sitting there watching Baker's big time throw that just got picked off. It's not looking too good for the Detroit Lions now. We kind of need this one. And we got to go out there and put a show on tonight versus Green Bay. But before we get too much into that, we're going to go off and, start out with a heartbreaker. That's, just a recap of the semifinals, Michigan versus TCU. I don't know if we were so heartbroken or overly busy, but we didn't get one out last Wednesday. So
whatever, either or.
Yeah. But no, I would just say in general, a tough loss. I just say we played out of character. Just kind of that, that's kind of what I'll put it down to. Playing out of character and, just kind of ran out of time on us. We let it turn into a track meet. And that was, something that we knew we could not get into.
Right.
Tough loss, great season. But, obviously not the way you wanted to finish.
Right. Yeah. No, I tip my hat to him, going 13-0. I mean, that's something for first time in Big Ten history, first time in Michigan's history doing something like that. You just give him credit in that regard. But yeah, no, it was a tough one. I'm just watching, how the game unfolded against TCU. I've been in that, probably been that audience or that group of Michigan fans that feels like that Philly special kind of just, I feel like that kind of blew things open for us and really, kind of took the team out of sorts. And I hope to never see that play ever again. Ran by Michigan and, like you said, you hit it right on the head. Really out of character. I saw, that play and that, fullback dive to Khalil Mullings where he ended up fumbling. that was just stuff that, like, those are plays we haven't been seeing all year. The offensive line, look like they had a real hard time with that 3-3-5, just like figuring out, who to block on that second level. The 3-down line was giving them, pretty significant issues. Lost Schoonmaker, the best tight end, like on our team, best blocking tight end on the team, pretty early on in the game. Just put JJ in a spot where ultimately he was not familiar with all season. And yeah, it showed. Gave them 2 points off the back, or give them 2 pick sixes. We gave them 14 points. Everything that went wrong, essentially. And it was really uncharacteristic. Even Edwards, how he was running the ball sometimes. The JJ just looking very, skittish and not really, just looking out of sorts. It just kind of started to domino after that first drive.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think, like you said, never want to see that play again. I think when you consider the first play of the game, 60 yards right up the gut, and just, the momentum I thought we had at that current moment, and just how, that was all sucked away instantly. I think that would have been an identity play. Whether we get it or not, you're putting their offense against their back on the 1-2 yard line, half an inch yard line, probably, if we don't get in. And then you're putting one of the top 5 defenses out there in the country in a very not ideal situation for that offense to start right off rip, big moment. And worst case scenario, you're probably getting the ball back at the 50 in a couple of plays.
Right.
I think that's kind of how I would have played that. I don't understand that play, and I think that kind of just exploded from there. And then I think that was a touchdown. We had no business even having to go for it the next play and fumbling, but then again, I knew that was going to happen. We said that when we started running him versus Ohio State, I wasn't like, who is this guy? He's going to fumble. Same thing in championship. He seemed to be semi sure-handed, but I think a guy that probably has under 10 carries, probably 7 carries to his whole name in a playoff game. I just don't understand that.
Yeah.
And there, I think tight end getting hurt, that eliminates, we're already down to tight end. That's already our backup. So I think we couldn't run some of the packages we wanted to. We were already behind big, so we had to throw. And, that's kind of how it was from there. But I think other than that, that third quarter was one of the most
electric.
Yeah. It was it was ridiculous. It was
Yeah.
touchdown. And I thought we were still throughout that. I thought we had a momentum to kind of pull it up. We just kind of were, that 76-yard broke tackle really kind of broke our back there. But up until that point, I was like, damn, I thought,
that was firepower we ain't seen all year. Just
Yep.
being able to get up and down the field like that. I mean, I think that's what was impressive about it. Was like it was just all season's been methodical. Just 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Time of possession, just focusing on that. But we were getting up and down the field. JJ, I give him a lot of credit, just kind of being put in a tough situation. He threw a couple picks. Well, it is what it is. He just came out, kept fighting, threw for like 340, 350 yards. Ran the ball around quite a bit. Would have liked to see him run a little more in some of them situations.
I agree. I think he finished with like 403 total yards. So that was 50 on the ground and 350. Obviously you cannot have those interceptions, but I think he did show some heart. Showed a lot of guts and
grit. Yeah,
it was. And I'm a little bit ahead of the G on here on the broadcast, but Seahawks about to go for another field goal here. So we'll see if what this means for the Detroit Lions. 32-yard attempt. They're about to ice him again. But I just think overall, just to wrap up to Michigan, I think phenomenal season. A lot of Harbaugh rumors going around here, and we gotta. Sure, we'll be talking about that as more time comes, whether it's the contract coming, or what that may be. But I think it was great to see the turnaround, and I would love to see what he can build on with that. I mean, JJ is a sophomore, proven one of the better quarterbacks in the country. Donovan Edwards, lots of pieces. Loveland, you can go down a list.
The team is definitely on the younger side. The team is definitely on the younger side overall. Got a couple different key veterans coming back. Got Mike Sanderson coming back. Might be one or two guys from the O-line potentially coming back, for another season. I can't. Obviously, the first couple days after the loss, I was pretty upset just because how close you were to potentially winning that game. But I think overall, man, I mean, back-to-back Big Ten championships, back-to-back playoff semifinals. I like how we were able to get in there twice. Seahawks pulled it out. Like how we were able to get there twice before the expansion, right? So we were able to do it when it was a little more difficult. So I just hope now going forward we're able to provide some stability and just a strong culture within the program, and just. I mean, I'd love to, run it back and get another Big Ten championship. But yeah, like you said, we just got to kind of see what's going on with Harbaugh. I mean, it's the way they're doing some some strange stuff right now. Talking about some things that happened back in 2020. Bringing it up just as soon as we, right after that semifinal loss. So I think everybody's kind of just waiting, just trying to understand what the NCAA is going to do to Harbaugh, what Harbaugh wants to do. Whether trying to go back to the NFL or staying in college.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I think you sent me something on Twitter that kind of summed it up all well. And that was the NCAA has a habit, I'm paraphrasing here, but the NCAA has a habit of, coming down very harshly on misdemeanors and letting felonies go. And I would say that is a case of that right here, where it seems very minor when of some of the blatant stuff that happens across the board. I don't know. I just think they're kind of picking on this, and I can't quite understand why. So I don't know. I'm hoping that doesn't push him to the NFL. I'm hoping that's not part of our demise. I think that's actively working against us right here at the moment, and that's not something that a lot of other programs that have some skeletons in their closet, whether it be the Alabamas, the Florida's, Ohio State, USC. I mean, all these teams have recently done very sketchy things. And whether it's stealing coaches, paying for houses, players, cars, whatever the case is.
Yeah.
NIL packages. Let's take a look at what you can't tell me Texas A&M didn't do nothing crazy last year. So I think when you look at all of that, I don't know. That quote seems to stand true here. So I just hope it's not something that pushes him to the NFL, and that we come with a good bag and pay him his dues. I think he is pretty deserving of that. This is a guy who, coming into the 2021 season, was kind of calling for his head. He turned it around. Got 2 back-to-back titles here for the Big Ten. I think he's the 3rd highest Big Ten paid coach right now, 12th overall in college football. I think he would want to at least be up tied for first in the Big Ten and somewhere in the top 3, top 5 overall. I put him somewhere in the $9 million, $10 million range, and obviously give it some incentive laced as well. But I think if that's what it takes to play at this level, then we got to keep it going.
Right. Yeah, and like we just kind of talked about before we jumped live on here. I mean, like Harbaugh is just it's just one of the weird situations at Michigan where you got the former quarterback from Michigan, coach's alma mater. He's done, in my opinion, he's kept the program stable, and granted we weren't beating Michigan State and beating Ohio like we would have liked them to, but yeah, just in a weird spot. We're in a tough spot. We're always, I know Michigan, this fan base is already kind of used to just having all these rumors, starting to, sprout out, this time around. But I don't know, I just got a weird feeling that, this might be kind of like the icing on the cake, or might be the, the straw that broke the camel's back for him. So I just hope that we are kind of like doing what we can internally to have like a backup plan, whether that's, promoting Mike Hart or Jesse Minter for and from an associate standpoint, just to kind of be able to keep things flowing and, giving ourselves more time to find his potential replacement down the line. But I would hope that, after all the dust settles over this next, couple of weeks, maybe he gets a 1 or 2 game suspension, decides to, hang around for at least another year, and we can continue to just where we've been at, these last couple of years.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think more time to tell. I think probably very quickly we'll have a little more, coming with this. And what that would look like. So obviously we'll be on that. And I think, I would just, as a repeat again, I would hate for this to be the thing that pushes him away from the program when it seems to be hitting its stride. It's kind of, it's bullshit. It seems like a witch hunt when you consider all the stuff that blatantly goes out there. So no, I completely agree.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you got anything else to say about that, but just, a good wrap up, a good season, kind of end on a sour note, kind of more sour news to follow that afterwards. Not what you like, but I think a lot of BS swirled the program last year after the Big Ten too. Who players that were coming and going, or whether he was coming or going or not, and all that. Obviously he came back and repeated it again. So I think, I do want to lean at that. I haven't lost all hope yet. But I would think we would, as a Michigan fan, as a Michigan program, if you want to keep him, I would think you would want to jump on offense quickly with a contract, quickly with, but like you said, maybe a self-suspension, something like that to try to blow that way.
Just try to play some damage control right now, because I feel like we're just sitting back and letting all this stuff just unfold, and I'd hate for us to kind of be the ones on the outside looking in when, we get hit with a couple different sanctions for him buying somebody a cheeseburger. He decides to peace out because he's just kind of over everything. And but I don't have a whole lot more to add other than, like you were saying, just great season. I mean, can't be mad about, beating Ohio back to back after, losing to them as long as we had. I think, it's, really just hoping that from here, as a program, they can just continue to just stay, successful, and just keep this ball rolling for the next 5 to 7 years. But yeah, I'd like to see what Harbaugh's plan is going to be sooner rather than later.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think just, trying to transition here to the NFL, obviously, we just processing this kind of live here, but, Seahawks pulled it out, 19-16 victory, kind of just, pulled the rug from under the Lions fans here, under Lions team, as far as enough hopes go. You started out, I believe, 1-6, if I want to say, fought all the way to 8-8 now, put their foot down on some teams, seem to have a bit of identity here. And now you get to go play arch rival on the road, both teams 8-8. And I think, like you said before we hopped on, if that happened to happen, you would love to see this team come out there and still fight and get to that winning record. First winning record we believe in since 2016, 2015 season. You're whether believe it or not, you're rearing up on 7 years on that. Those are few and hard to come around here apparently. So
Yeah.
to go ahead and get that, just I don't know. I think that's a badge of honor for this season. Considering everything, and I would say I'll go out and say it. If they would fire the coach, November 1st, I wouldn't have cared at all. So I give it to him that he's he's turned around a little bit, and they can finish here. I believe that he has turned it around to a certain degree.
Yeah. No, you hit it right on the head there. I mean, I can't do nothing but tip my hat to Dan Campbell. I've been one of the few just really asking for his head, just trying to, I understand a lot of the decisions he's made, but I never thought I'd see a turnaround like this coming. I feel like this is like we're about a year ahead in the rebuild. If you ask me, as far as just where things kind of stand now. Granted, it is unfortunate that we just saw we're not going to be playing for a playoff spot, but I hope they got it in them to just, it's like, well, hell, if we got to sit home, the Packers got to sit home too. So I hope that that's, kind of their mentality and their thought process. I've been hearing all week about how, they're kind of sick of just Aaron Rodgers not taking them seriously. I heard that James Houston signed a Packers jersey saying like, I hate Aaron, like writing like in so many words, like I hate Aaron Rodgers on it or something like that. And, I just hope that, they're just, at the end of the day, they're coming out there. It's going to be, it's going to be in Green Bay, going to be in a harsh temperatures, tough environment to play in. I just want them to be able to end the season at minimum, end the season with a bang. Whether that's a tough loss or big time victory. At this point, it doesn't really matter. But as far as just from playoff implications, obviously, but I would just hope that we can, put a nice little button on the season overall. But I'm just impressed in how they turn things around. And granted, the talent, still really isn't there on the team overall. So you hope they can take this momentum. You hope those those free agents are watching them and just seeing where they, where they're at. Hopefully we can get some more help next season.
Yeah, I think you said that well. It's been season of multiple. I felt like we came on here many times this year and said this could be a turnaround point because that's kind of how the team's been. Kind of like a teeter-totter all year, or kind of like a top all year. Where it could fall at any point, but they're staying up, and I think that's really been one of this season. And I think if you can go ahead and finish this last win, get above 500, all the momentum of that with the picks, basically, name your amount of money you want in free agency as far as how much we have to play with this year. That's a lot of momentum for a team that's above 500 team.
Right.
And I think that's exactly how I feel like they should go into this game. And I think I think you want to make the playoffs. So I would hope if they can turn it on still, but having the stress of that off of them, they can go out and play super loose. They could do all that crazy shit Dan Campbell likes to do. They can go for it on fourth down. They're going to could really have Green Bay against the ropes if they want to come out there and play that type of game.
Right.
They have nothing else to play for other than that, we have turned this around and you're going to stay home as well. You can't disrespect us, like you said. And I think you could go out there and play super loose. And that's kind of what I expect from them coming up here. It's been interesting to watch, the growth of Hutch, Kirby Joseph stepping in, the injuries of Tracy Walker, just lots of stuff that happened on the defensive side of the ball. Major turnaround from whenever giving up, 450 yards a game.
All third downs.
Yeah. So I think, major turnaround from that to this. And offense, obviously they didn't continue to put up 45 a game like they were the first half of the season, but a very respectable offense as well. So that with 5 picks in the top 60, I think we maybe got something cooking here, and it is exciting.
Definitely do, and I won't be the Debbie Downer here, but for me it's like I still just think about that Vikings game, that we just weren't able to pull out, early in the season, have those 2 10-point leads just in that fourth quarter like that. Right now, I think it'd be essentially playing for a division championship tonight as well. So it's but overall, I mean, I think we were talking, earlier in the season, we went through the schedule, and I think we kind of both agreed on 6 to 7 wins. I mean, they hit that. We got lucky and had the Rams. They didn't have the greatest season. This loss, it sucks that they weren't able to win. However, this loss, if I'm not mistaken, I mean, they'll have like a top 6 to top 8 pick still. And then they'll have a pick, kind of that mid-teens range just from like their own pick. So
Yeah.
there are like when you're a team like this in this situation, there's just there's obviously you want to win these games and go to the playoffs, but knowing where this team is at right now, like there's just still so much going on that it's like, okay, like we got so much, we got more than enough from them this season. Guess what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think they ended up playing to their at or above where their expectations. I think initially they came out and were playing underwhelming us tremendously. Now they seem to hit their stride a little bit. And yeah, you can point to the Vikings game. You can point to the fact that we lost to the Seahawks by, I think, 3 points. All type of crazy calls in that game from a coaching standpoint. One of Geno Smith's coming out party this year, as far as he looked phenomenal early on. I think that was second week, first half of the first couple of games of the year for this year for sure. So I think, some very tough losses, and I think those have turned into very, very good wins. Pulling out wins there. And so I don't know. I think it will show a lot for this team if they can come out and not lay an egg here. Come out and really come out and fight. And show me that you have something to play for. I agree.
Just like for me, right now it's like at least make sure you and Green Bay got to sit at home. Look at how we can potentially sweep them for for the first time in the last however many years. I know we played them pretty tough, regardless of what our schedule has been the last 4 or 5 years because it's a division rival. But at least show me that y'all are like put good tape out. And, I'll go back to just once again, like for the free agents out there, the ones that had that 1-year deal with us, maybe thinking about going somewhere else or thinking about running it back, like just put on a nice little show to just put like almost the NFL on notice of, hey, this is what we plan on, this is what we plan on doing, this is what we plan on being for the next few years or so. And I just hope that we can keep this momentum going. I tip my hat again to Dan Campbell. Not the biggest fan of him. He's earned a little bit more of my respect as the seasons went on. And I just hope that we can continue this momentum. And I just want at least a solid game today, or tonight, I should say.
Solid game, and I think you could see a lot. You're a lot to look forward to as a Lions fan. That the roster is young, and you look at that defensive line, and you think you put anybody, you spend one other pick in them top 60 spots on another defensive lineman, you would know that defensive line is going to be tip top for years to come. And I think you see a lot of little tiny things like that. Jared Goff is not looking bad. I think we have to tip our hat to him. And obviously, I don't think you can necessarily win a Super Bowl with him. But I've said this before, that we're not to that point. We need to get to, can we make the playoffs? Can we get a winning record? And he's proven that he can do that for you. And if he can be that type of quarterback, all things considered, that $30 million a year don't look that bad. So I think a couple things like that. J-Mo still mini coming out party. I think, I'm excited. I really am kind of excited to see what they can do. And that Rams pick, that's, who would have thought that would be a top 7 pick?
Right.
That
he's been almost, the good part of the season and just even prior, just kind of having conversations about it, thinking it was going to be, back half, what gems might fall to that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's always kind of the thought process for that pick, especially after seeing him win the Super Bowl. But just being able to have a chance at somebody like a Jalen Carter or Will Anderson potentially, depending on how things unfold and how they fall, and having all those other draft picks. Last year they were 3-13-1, and they won the last game, but it was like, all right, like that's still a pretty bad season. But I think now I'm just like, this is best case scenario. Because I thought it'd be 7-10, 6-11 would have been fine with the season like that. But they got a chance to go out with a bang and a winning record. I commend them for that.
Yeah, no, I agree. That comes on about 20, 30 minutes here, and then I think I don't know if you I guess we'll hop into score predictions. One more little just random stat they had showing in 3-27 in Green Bay since like 2000, something like that. Yeah, obviously very tough to win there. Maybe I'm riding a little high, but I think we can go out there and play spoils, and ruin their season as well, and have a little fun. But Green Bay's defense has been playing phenomenal. I think they haven't given up over 20 points in like 4 or 5 games here.
Yeah.
A very uphill battle. So, I'm gonna go real tough, close win. I'm gonna go 24-21 Alliance. Pull it out.
Okay.
9-8, damn you, Geno Smith, because he can
right.
Yeah.
No, I think I'm gonna do I do like a 27-24. I think we end up going out there, walk off, field goal. To take us into hopefully one of the best off seasons we'll ever see as a Lions fan. I'm confident that they'll come out, still fired up regardless of how that Rams Seahawks game ended. And I think right now they're just out for blood. They really want to send Aaron Rodgers home. I think they will do that tonight.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think that's all we got on that. I think we are going to hop into some Michigan basketball. Talk about state of Michigan basketball coming up weeks. Detroit Pistons. Maybe touch on some major NBA topics.
Yeah.
And I appreciate everybody watching. Go ahead and subscribe if you're not.
Peace out.